Howdy, partners, and welcome to Wern TV. Today's episode is called The MAD Cowboy. On the MAD Cowboy today, we're going to be doing some subtracting with those fractions. In particular, it says, day 23, lesson 32. I can subtract a fraction from a mixed number. An example is 8 3/5 minus 4/5. You may not know how to do that now, but just give me a moment. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to show you some Wern ways, and you'll know how to do this. Come on, let's hit the trails together.
Alrighty, well, I think I'm going to lose my accent and go back to my normal voice. Here's what we're going to do. You notice I've got right here, and this is on my guided practice, to subtract, model with a number line or the arrow way. Well, let's just go ahead and scratch out or the arrow way, and you can do that on your homework too. We're not going to do the arrow way. For the first four problems, you are going to use the number line. And I'll help you with your instructions at the end of this. But what I would like to do is let's just take a look at our first problem that says 3 3/4 minus 1/4. Well, using a number line, I'm going to use a pen that's a mark that's a little bit darker here. Using a number line, I'm just going to go ahead and put up here 3 3/4. So we start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. But I don't stop there because 3/4 is actually greater than 3. So I'm going to go all the way up to 4. And you know that in order to plot this point on a number line, I've got to go divide these into 4. So there's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and there's 4/4 right there. And where we are is right here. I put a little dot there, and I'm going to call that 3 3/4. But you know, with subtraction, I'm taking it away. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm minusing 1/4, I'm just going to go one jump back to there to subtract. And where does that leave me? At 3 1/4, 2/4. So 3 2/4. 3 2/4. And you know, if I want to check that, I can just add that 1/4 right back there and say, well, 3 2/4 plus that 1/4 would give me 3 3/4, which is what I started with. There's 1A. Using the number line, not too bad. Don't have my trusty little eraser here, so that's okay. I'll just use my hand, no big deal. Let's look at B. Let's look at problem B. We've got 4 7/10 minus 3/10. Well, once again, I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way over here to 4. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go all the way to 5 because it's greater than 4. Well, there's going to be little bitty tick marks here, but you know I'm going to have to go all the way to 7/10. So there's going to be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. Let's see if we can move this over a little bit. I'll put my 5 right here. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and there's 10/10. And we were all the way over here at 7/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's my 7/10. And I'm taking away 3 of them. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 hops back. And now where did that leave me? It left me at 4 and 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. 4 and 4/10. And if you notice, look at the top, we have 4 and 7/10. And if I'm only taking away that 3/10, well, whenever I'm subtracting, just like with I'm adding, if my denominator is the same, I go ahead and leave that denominator like it is. Let me erase this a little. I'm going to leave that 10. Now I'm just saying, well, what's 7 minus 3? Well, 7 minus 3 equals 4. And since it wasn't greater than this first number, since I wasn't subtracting a fraction that was greater than this fraction, I just leave that whole number right there. So I'm just using my number line there. Let's go ahead. And so your answer is 4 4/10. Let's look at the next one. We have got 5 1/3 minus 2/3. Well, notice we have something different. If I'm looking just at my fractions, the number I'm subtracting, the fraction I'm subtracting from the first, the whole amount is greater, it's a bigger fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw my number line here. And I'm not even going to start at 0. I'm just going to call this one, let's go ahead and go 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm not going all the way to 0. And I'll call this 6. And I divided this into thirds. So there's 1/3, 2/3, and then 3/3 to be 6. So we were right here, 5 1/3. And now I'm subtracting 2/3 from, well, if I go backwards, 1, 2, I have to take 2 hops away. So let me just go ahead and divide this one into thirds. Now we can do it. There's 1 hop, 2 hops. And now I'm no longer at 5. It's 4 1/3 and 2/3. So 4 2/3 is my answer. 4 2/3. Now they can give you some different ways of like breaking this down and decomposing it. Don't. Just go ahead and just draw your number line. Matter of fact, for your assignment, I want you for the first 4 problems to draw these number lines. Let's go ahead and let's erase that. So your answer to 5 1/3 minus 2/3 is 4 2/3. Erasing this. Let's look at D. And this will be the last one you draw a number line on. We've got 9 3/5 minus 4/5. Now notice my 2 fractions. I'm subtracting a larger fraction from a smaller fraction. So we'll do it the same way. Once again, I'm just going to draw a number line. Do I want to start at 0? No. I'm just going to go ahead and start. Let's just go ahead and start at 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what am I dividing each one of these into? Into fifths. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 right there. And we start out at 9 3/5. But how many hops of a fifth am I going to take back? Well, 4 of them. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. I got to divide this into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, where did I stop? I'm actually less than 9, so it's going to be 8. And how many fifths? 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. 8 4/5. That's how you do it. If you would like to pause and write down these answers, and maybe you just want to go ahead and pause, have this thing paused, and go over to your homework page. Look right here. Let's look at our homework page, which I'm going to open my packet. Go ahead and scratch out where it says sort of the arrow way. Circle where it says number line. We're using a number line. And just draw these number lines here. That's what you're working. If you like, you can pause it now and come back. And when you're ready, we'll start for the rest of it. Now, for today's lesson, the MAD Cowboy, I'm just going to work the front of this. And here's what I'd really like you to do with this. These instructions right here that say, use decomposition to subtract the fractions. Model with a number line or the arrow way. Scribble that out. And I want you to write the MAD Cowboy way. The MAD Cowboy way. I think you will like this better. We're going to start out with the MAD, and go to the cowboy. All right. Okay, problem 2A. What we have is we've got 5 and 3/5 minus 4/5. Well, I said it's the MAD Cowboy. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get mad at this problem, at this mixed number. Multiply, add, denominator stays the same. So I'm going to say 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 plus 3 is 28, and my denominator stays the same, which is a 5. And now I just bring this minus 4/5. Well, now I've got an easy problem to work out. Remember, if I'm subtracting two fractions and my denominator is the same, like I've got both these are divided by divided into fifths, the denominator stays the same. Now I just say 28 minus 4 is 24. And there I've got an answer that's an improper fraction. But guess what? This wouldn't be the MAD Cowboy way if we didn't use the cowboy way. So let's go ahead and let's use our cowboy. Let's go ahead and I can draw my horse. Give me some ears. Give my cowboy a cowboy hat. Give this horse a tail. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take 24, because the cowboy goes in the house and my horse goes outside. And now we just have to say, well, how many times will 5 go into 24? Well, I know it won't. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. That's too big. So it's going to be 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. And 24 minus 20 is 4 left over. And here we go. There's my whole number, 4. There's my my numerator, 4. And here's my denominator. So my answer of 5 and 3/5 minus 4/5 is 4 and 4/5. And there's the MAD Cowboy way. Mad at the mixed number, do my subtraction, end with a cowboy way. There we go. I'm erasing. See if anybody notices some little change that we had to make here. I can explain that later. Let's go ahead and let's look at problem B. 4 and 1/4 minus 2/4. I'll put my answer up there. Well, the first thing I need to do is get mad at it. Multiply, add, denominator stays the same. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17. And my denominator stays the same, which is 4. Minus 2/4. Do I have the same denominator? Yes, I do. 4 and 4. They're divided into fourths. So that stays the same. And I say, what's 17 minus 2? That's 15. Now I just use the cowboy way. 15. He goes in the house. 4 goes outside. And then I just say, well, how many times will 4 go into 15? Well, if it won't... 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16, which is too big. So it's going to go 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. So my answer is going to be, as a mixed number, 3 is my whole number. 3 is also my numerator. And 4 is my denominator. So 4 and 1/4 minus 2/4 is 3 and 3/4. While you write that down. Let's move on. This is going to be problem 2C. 5 and 1/3 minus 2/3. Once again, let's just get mad at it. Multiply, add, denominator stays the same. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. Denominator stays the same, so 16/3 minus 2/3. Well, my denominator's both 3 is 3 in both these problems, so I say 3 is my denominator, and 16 minus 2 is 14. And there's our answer as an improper fraction. But I want to make it a mixed number. Cowboy, or there's my horse. Let's go ahead and say 14 divided by 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 is way too big, so we're going to 3 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 14 minus 12 is 2. And there we go. There's my whole number. There's the 2 is my numerator. And the 3 is my denominator. So 4 2/3. So 5 1/3 minus 2/3 is 4 2/3. Mad Cowboy. Mad Cowboy. We'll subtract. We'll do one more problem as an example. Then I'll kind of leave you to your own. We've got D, which is 2 3/8 minus 5/8. We can still do this. It's still Mad Cowboy. First thing, get mad at it. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. Denominator stays the same, which is an 8. So we've got 19/8 minus 5/8. What's 19/8 minus 5/8? Well, 19, we know it's going to have 8 as the denominator. And 19 minus 5 is 14. Well, now I just have to divide 14 by 8. 14 divided by 8. Well, I know 8 times 2 is 16, and that's going to be too big. So it's going to have to just be 1. So 1 times 8 is 8. And 14 minus 8 is 6. And there's my answer. My whole number is going to be 1. My numerator is going to be 6. And my denominator is going to be 8. So 2 3/8 minus 5/8 is 1 6/8. And if you want to check it, all you'd have to do is take your answer, your difference, add it back to what you subtracted from it. And 1 6/8 plus 5/8 would give you 19/8 or 2 3/8. So guys, there it is. You use mad, subtract, then cowboy. That's all you have to do. There's 3 steps here. Step 1, get mad at it. Step 2, subtract your fractions. Step 3, cowboy way. And there's the Mad Cowboy way. Now, before I leave you, I'm just going to give you some advice. We didn't do the back page. We didn't do this page right here because it's just more examples exactly like what's on the front. So on your homework sheet, I told you at the top, scratch that out. On the first 4 problems, I want you to use that number line. On the next 4 problems, I want you to scratch all this stuff out and just put the Mad Cowboy way. So you'll do problems 2A, B, C, and D the Mad Cowboy way. Turn over to the back page. And this is just more practice. This says 3 and 4. I don't care what they have here. You can, this is all Mad Cowboy. Mad Cowboy. My handwriting's kind of sloppy, but that's okay. You all should be used to that by now. Scribble this stuff out. Mad Cowboy. Just use the Mad Cowboy way. That's how you subtract them. Mad, subtract, then Cowboy way. I hope that helps everybody out. I'll have this video, well, obviously it's posted, you're going to see it. So on that note, y'all have a great day, and we will have a Zoom session.